Very good afternoon. Thanks for being for this panel. I know we are between you and lunch, so we will try to make it very exciting. What we've tried to do as a group of panelists here is try to keep the experiences real and spruce with examples so that you have some real takeaway from this discussion. So maybe Abhinav, I'll start with you. Yours is a very different segment. You can touch upon a little bit about what you do in terms of retailing, and then tell us how do you acquire customers, because it's slightly niche.
My name is Abhinav. I am the founder of a brand called Something's Brewing. We are a D2C marketplace for all things coffee. So I'll say it's not different or niche. Coffee is the second most traded commodity in the world after oil. So it is pretty ubiquitous. Everyone has coffee in some form or the other. But yes, most people have instant coffee, and what we are trying to promote is home brewing. Make coffee at home. Coffee is a beautiful habit. India grows coffee, so why not brew coffee yourself? Why are you mixing milk and instant coffee when you can brew coffee at home? That's what we're trying to do. And let's get technical. So of course, like any marketing activity, there's a funnel, and we find that because it's a new habit in India, there aren't too many customers who are high intent, who are exactly looking at what exactly they want to buy. So the bottom of the funnel is still very narrow. So we look at how do we acquire more customers. And we apply an omni-channel approach to this activity. Of course, we are on social media, and we are trying to discover more and more people who are interested in coffee, who visit cafes, who have any sort of affinity towards doing things themselves, interesting brands which are in the D2C space, because these are customers who are trying to discover new interesting habits and hobbies. So that becomes a primary source of acquisition for us. Beyond that, physical acquisition becomes also a very important channel for us, and we do that through being collaborative, being there in interesting consumer journeys. So if you're visiting a food festival, you will find us there. We'll encourage you to make coffee. We collaborate with a lot of cafe chains to set up home brewing sections. And we have a beautiful retail store in Bangalore where we also encourage people to come in. A very unique proposition in our store is it's a cafe, but if you make coffee on your own, coffee is on the house, it's free. So those are some of the interesting non-online acquisition strategies that we are adopting.
So takeaway, if it's niche, if it's slightly different, then make it more experiential and involve the customer is what you're saying.
Exactly. People have not tried home brewing. So one of the activities we do is we have a kit where we have instant coffee, filter coffee, and a few other types of coffee which you can brew. And we offer that kit as a proposition to many corporates. So just to let people experience the difference between instant coffee versus when you make coffee yourself, how fresh it is and how different the flavor is. Unless you've tried something better, you really don't know the experience, and hence you never move towards that journey. So yes, we do try and do that to make it more experiential.
Okay. So from Abhinav, I'll come to Santosh. FreshToHome Foods, FTH, known brand. Many of us are consumers. So how are you doing this in terms of acquisition and retention, especially in a slightly non-differentiated category, if I may say so?
Hi, thank you so much. Great panel. And sorry for delaying your food. We promised we'll end in 40 minutes or whatever. So ultimately, at FreshToHome, we believe in ultimately customers, what they want is very simple. Whatever is the price, or price when I say it's all effort, time, price, whatever, cost, etc. And the value that I'm getting, the benefit that I'm getting is more than that. I will buy your product. And then I keep buying as long as I think. It is not what we think. It's about what customers think. They are getting the value from product. So acquisition and retention is basically the same, right? It actually revolves, the thesis is the same, right? It revolves around So again, so customers are different, right? So in Fresh2Home, we have that segmentation of demographics, right? So whether it is a 1 lakh plus monthly household income, or if it is 50,000 to 1 lakh. So their drivers and motivators are different, right? For purchase and for experience. So, for example, a price, so you would see fresh cash and coupons and stuff like that, and then you see that there are customers who are acting on stuff, but then not all customers are actually excited with fresh coupons and cash discounts, etc. Right? So it depends on the target audience, right? It depends on the segment that you're talking to, right? Some people like really that customized experiences. I would over-index on the experiences that I'm getting. I really do not care about some 100 rupees extra that I would be paying. Fresh2Home, as you know, is world's number one online fresh meat and seafood brand, and FTH Daily is one of the subscribed milk and various other grocery brand. So in terms of acquisition, one thing that we have seen is, so now Fresh2Home is actually going offline as well, right? So micro-targeting, there is a lot of scope in BTL, which the CAC, the customer acquisition cost, which comes much lesser when it comes to for micro-targeting kind of audiences. So if you are doing it only in some specific area, etc. Again, it depends on the AOV of the offering as well. So depending on that, then you should be able to devise the most appropriate methods for acquisition.
So Santosh, I'll push you a little bit before you hand over the mic. As a consumer, I need fish, meat, whatever. More or less every player delivers me the same promise. I'll push you a little bit. So on the path to profitability that we were talking about, how are you really doing something different, which is a takeaway for the audience to say that, how do I really make that business profitable, even if it is somewhat commoditized?
So the profitability is an extremely hard thing to achieve, right? Which is the reason why a lot of businesses are actually following that course of action, right? There are two things that we can do. One is the defense strategy, which is basically lowering your costs, whatever is the unnecessary costs. So we should perhaps bucketize into various segments and then see what is the one that is not necessary to give that kind of a customer experience. Because once you touch customer experience, then that it's probably there's no redemption, right? The other one is the offense strategy. What are the next bets that you can do without burning your bank, which is what a lot of us actually did the last 2-3 years, right? We put money behind growth, and then we realized that that is probably not the right strategy, especially given these kinds of market circumstances. You do what is best for the offense, which is basically the market share gain. So at Fresh2Home, what we do is we are going for the second level of growth through offline channels, right? So that's a big thing for Fresh2Home going forward. So we are, so right now, offline revenues would still be insignificant, perhaps 6 to 7%, but then going forward, that becomes, that we are expecting to ramp up in terms of acquisitions and also the revenues percentage contribution to the overall revenues.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll come to Jacob first, he being a service provider, and then I'll come back to the retailers in a different category. So Jacob, as a service provider, you enable a lot of these customers, these retailers and the brands to empower their end consumers. Now, we've been talking for N number of years to say we need data, we need insights, we want actionable insights. What has changed in the last 1 or 2 years which makes the brand more enabled to take sharper decisions?
Yeah. So I think, first of all, the trend towards first-party data has increased a lot. And the gap between like a CRM and CDP is slowly shrinking. People are expecting platforms such as ours to be a CDP. And many of brands are using us as CDP as well. the interesting, and what's the basic difference, is that in CleverTap, we are able to create a profile and store data up to 10 years as well. So it's as good as a CDP and build a 360-degree profile. Now, why do customers in today's competitive world, what is the differentiator, as Santosh mentioned, is the customer experience. Now, how do you provide that customer experience? Across various channels of communication, online as well as offline, a seamless experience. So for example, if I plan to buy maybe a mobile, maybe I look at a website, an app, I look at some, interesting mobiles. Maybe I want to touch and feel that. I go to the store, right? Now already there is some drip campaigns which is running on the mobile, via the mobile, on the online channels. But if I buy at the physical store, and still I get, I still get messages, campaigns, because it was created only for the online channel, and I'm not collecting and unifying data across various platforms, then that customer experience is not good. Likewise, if I come on the side, I want to discover the products I want, the need that I want quickly. There are millions of products, in a typical retail. You have maybe 100,000 SKUs, 1 million SKUs. How do you serve the need of that customer as soon as he or she logs onto your website or the app? So you need to have a good personalization strategy, a good recommendation engine. You need to have a good segmentation engine and a platform which unifies data, customer profile data across platforms. So for example, our customers, right? We have customers across, fintech, e-commerce, retail, fashion, gaming, across the thing. And the various customers have different, they want to look back. Some may only want to look like a 6-month data. Maybe a gaming company, they only want to look at a 6-month data. But a financial, insurance provider, they want to look at 7 years data, 10 years data, right? Because that you won't buy a life insurance policy every year, right? Medical insurance you will renew every year, but life insurance is not. Or maybe you want to buy a car, right? 4 years, right? So you need to access that data and in real time. And you don't want to create campaigns every day. You do one journey and that's it. Let it go on and on and on. So that is the power of, that is how we are improving the experience of our customer's customer, because our immediate customer, our marketer, is able to devise those segmentation, analytics, segmentation, engagement strategies on our platform.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you. I'll come to the retailers in between. So maybe start with Agnes first. You run a apparel chain. You have multiple channels. You have good retail presence as well, and you also have D2C. So how are you growing the D2C vis-a-vis, let's say, the retail stores and the traditional channels that you had?
Yeah, see, at Moza, we have about 45 stores and 600 point of sale across the country. And most of them are organized business. So we get a secondary sales data from every single city. So we have a presence of 300 cities across all the states. So we have a data point in terms of what product sells at what period of time and which market. So that kind of helps us to leverage the D2C penetration. Say, for example, retail, Andhra is biggest season for Andhra is Pongal. So we drive entire campaign for that particular month instead of spending the entire money across all the country. So that's one way actually kind of helped us to accelerate our D2C penetration in the market. And also, it also create more visibility of the brand in offline also. So we don't have to take up a hoarding in every marketplace. So, today, most of our customers, our customer base is 25 to 30, 35. So young customers, most of them are available online. They shop online. They just go for experience to shop. They see a brand, online brand available there. It also helps us to reduce the return. I would, confidently say our returns in fashion is about 30-35. We are below 20%. That's when we talk to people, people has earlier purchased somewhere else, so they know, they experience the product, therefore they're coming back. And new customers also have confidence when they buy a brand which is available nearby. So that's one thing which is actually really working well, which also helped us to keep our P&L, tight. And we would confidently say, even with the least marketing, our e-commerce channel is D2C channel is profitable. We measure profitability across all channels, so we are profitable because returns is the biggest killer in fashion. That's a major aspect which you could solve.
Excellent. So with that, I'll come to Subodh. Subodh is from HomeLane. It's a different kind of a consumption pattern there. So the traditional RFM models for retention, recency, frequency, and monetary may not work because once you do the house for a few years. How do you get back and how do you grow that account again is a little different. So how are you doing it? How do you drive your growth charter?
So, see, in home interiors, as you said, it's mostly a one-time purchase, right? So here, first of all, what we need to do is, this industry size is very, very large. It's about $18 billion, right? And 10% of this, and $18 billion I'm saying only in top 30 cities of India. Now, 10% of it is, very high-end interiors served by specialized architects and interior designers. 5% is us, like digital first players like HomeLane, and remaining 85% is still fragmented, served by local guys. Now, for me, the growth means moving people from unorganized to organized sector. It's not like, growing the industry as such, or I need to capture the customer again and again. It's very difficult while we are working towards that, but primary objective as of today is shifting the customer from organized to organized players like us. Now here in unorganized, the challenge is unpredictable experience. People start with some assumption that they will finish their home interiors in 5 lakhs. They end up spending 8 lakhs. They think it will get finished in 2 months. It takes 6 months. Quality is something people don't understand. They consume this category once or twice in a lifetime. So there is an information disparity. They don't understand it very well. So they get low quality stuff. They get cheated there. So now for us to grow, one thing which we do is, do brand-led category campaigns. Or brand ambassador is MS Dhoni. This helps us build credibility and trust on what we are saying. Then we do themes, any one pain point, pick up themes, do brand campaigns or category-led campaigns, bringing awareness among people that why they should move on from unorganized to organized space. Second, for growth, I think it's important that we are available for people. It's unlike, e-commerce or anything where you just need to do the delivery to customer's house. Opening new pin codes is easy. But for us, it is work being done at customer's site and some hundreds of parts getting shipped to the customer's house and then work being done there. So enabling more and more cities and pin codes is also something very, very critical for our growth. So we recently, about few months back, launched a new brand called DoUp. So far, HomeLane has been serving customers which spends around 8 lakhs to 30 lakhs in their home interiors. But there is a 6 times larger market size which is spends less than 6-7 lakhs. So they do not have actually an organized choice, much of the organized choices. So we launched this brand to serve that customer so that we can bring more people from unorganized to organized. We are also going the trade way. So FMCG has these trade sales channels, right? It's a very old channel. This trade migrated to modern trade. Now we are also trying something, maybe migrate the modern trade to digital trade, where we enable our dealers so much that they have that digital strength at their hand. They can run their own digital campaigns. They have the technology stack which we have for better design and better project management. And then so we make the existing architects, interior designers, part of the ecosystem go through the dealer manner to serve the smaller markets. The current model may not allow us, but we are working and launching this in like next few months. So we will be able to go again to the markets which are much smaller, and going back to the theory that bring more people from unorganized to organized. So I mean, that's largely how we are trying to grow.
Excellent, excellent. So I'll go from that side, start with Jacob and go across the line. Any unique use case that you have kind of powered with the help of technology, which helps in the customer space? Any aspect of experience, but you've enabled it with any new tech, which can be a learning for the audience.
Okay. Our core of CleverTap is our own purpose-built database. It's 11, we have almost 11 patents pending. So we scale at, we have customers such as Paytm, the Geos of the world in India, like Dream11. And you know, when IPL happens, 33 million concurrent users, right? So that's just one client. Across the globe, we are present over 2,000 enterprises, 10,000 apps. So the kind of scale that we operate is because of our own purpose-built database, which is in memory or hot memory, right? So this is the use of technology that we have. So we focused on tech first, and then went out and built many things on top of that.
Sure, sure. And as you come, it's not to be forced. Everybody may not have a use case, but if you have a use case, it'll be interesting to learn from it.
Yeah, I mean, we use technology as an enabler, nothing very, very high tech, but then we use small tricks like, so we have a store and, the products we sell are sometimes fairly expensive. It's a serious purchase. So we use video-led demos in a very meaningful way to give the customer an experience of what exactly are they buying if somebody is not able to visit the store. That's one use of technology. Also, of course, we have products like a subscription plan and something where you can choose various types of coffee blends, bundle it into one box and then order it for you. So, various types of methods in which we are making, exploring coffee very simple for a consumer.
So as far as tech goes, our HomeLane is a very tech-first company. And as I was speaking earlier, that there is an information disparity, right? In customers understanding what home interiors, there is plywood, there is so many materials, so many finishes. So we have a proprietary software called Spacecraft. It is an interior design software. And this software helps the customer and designer to sit together and co-create the product. It's not that I am creating the product and selling, it's a co-creation. Now, customer, first of all, should understand that if they are making any choices during the design phase, what it means for them in a 3D visualization, what product it will get, and what price it will come. So in that software, in the top right corner, you will always get a quote, a live quote, right? Where if any decision is being made, any module is getting added, any changes are being made, the price will change. So customer understands what is the repercussion of each and every choice, both in terms of the benefits and the cost. And hence they get empowered to make better decisions and do not feel upset later that, okay, I was expecting something in my home interiors, but something else came out to be true in physical sense, right? So that software helps us tremendously in that. And also it is linked to manufacturing. So there is no steps in between, where you are creating 2D drawings or bill of materials or procurement list or whatnot, right? Everything is automated from once the designs are frozen to factory to procurement, and everything is fully automated to avoid any scope of human errors till that stage. So, yeah.
So visualization, almost of the end product is what you're trying to deliver. Agnes? Yours.
Yeah, see, we are largely offline retail. So, I'm a strong believer tech is very important, in data. So my previous career, I was in Adobe Tech Development consultant. So when we started, we've created a data pool of all our products where it's been sold. So that kind of helps us to plan our future expansion of retail, plus also spending, where to spend in terms of marketing, which market, what kind of product. In fact, we leverage this sales data from coming from offline to also look at what kind of products. See, we are a bottom-wear brand, so we make all kind of bottoms. We make leggings, pants. There are markets, legging sells more. So when we launch a product ad, only that specific market where the legging will sell. So that's one piece. And we also implemented something called offline to online. A lot of people who are running the store, especially fashion, the size availability is the biggest challenge. How much ever stock you keep, it always not available. So we created some blockchain technology where every store have a unique QR code. If a customer's looking for a size is not available, if they're ready to wait for 1 or 2 days, they can just scan the QR code, directly come to our website. We can immediately ship it. So that's one technology. Actually, it's really helping us to drive our offline sales and also customer confidence at the product availability. So then again, those customers who actually, we also studied the customer who actually shop from offline to online, they prefer shopping more online. So is that somehow tech we've actually used in our business?
So at FreshToHome, how we integrate, so we have around 4,000 farmers, right, in our ecosystem. And this is a daily operation, intensive process of getting stuff from them and then giving it to the customers within 24 hours to maintain freshness, etc. Right? Incidentally, we also test each batch for chemicals and preservatives and all that, and then we get the okay to go to take it to the customers. So we have something called commodities exchange, which actually exchanges information from these 4,000, 3,500 sellers in a day with respect to the catch of the day and then the price and availability and the quantity, grading, etc. And so this is not done by people. This is not done in Excel and WhatsApp or whatever. This is something that commodities exchange does. So it leverages the technology expertise to sift through these various bids and there's a ranking that is fed in. There is a for regional festival predictive inventory also that is fed in. So what is there at the hubs or what is there at that particular coast, etc. So it marries both these kinds of the demand as well as the supply, and then finally place the order to the right person. It may not be the cheapest, but there are various parameters. So that is something that we have been doing at FreshToHome. It's called commodities exchange.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Hope there were some learnings and you can apply that. Maybe last couple of questions and then I'll open it up for the audience. So, see, from a D2C brand to be successful, I think two things are important. One is knowing the consumer very intensely and deeply so that you can then be effective, personalized, target, better. So, on the personalization and on the knowing the consumer, any two examples that you may have implemented or you may have seen, not in your business, but elsewhere, which is quite striking. Anybody can answer. I'm opening it up. Anybody can think and go ahead, but for the benefit
I can attempt. So, as we rightly said, I think most of the panel members must have shared this opinion. Customers are extremely different, right? So when we say that, okay, I have been using influencers, for example, after some time, what will happen is so it's like chocolate, right? Too much of chocolate, it becomes very, very sweet, right? And then after that, we don't want to see that chocolate anymore. So same is the case with any marketing intervention, right? So whether it is discounts, whether it is influencing usage of influence or usage of any particular channel, there is some kind of a deterioration that will happen after some time, right? So understanding the nature of customers and what he or she expects from the brand, psychographic and the demographic level. If you give, for example, there is this retention, right, wherein there is this lapsed customer, for example. So there is this very, very widely used practice of, giving discounts, right? But we will have to understand why the customer has lapsed. If it is a usage experience issue or whatever issue, unless that is sorted or that is, it is not our belief. The customer has to have that perception that these guys have taken it seriously and then these guys have sorted it out. customers may not come back, even if you give a huge 30% discount or whatever. And we think that we are doing it right, but then for the customer, it doesn't ring a bell here, right? So that would be a huge difference to look at when you look for acquisitions or when you are looking for retention. What is the customer perception about the brand and the experience?
Couple of examples. So we had listed most of our coffee machines on Amazon and the other platforms. We realized that return rates are very high. And the deeper realization actually was that most people returning were not returning because of a product quality issue, but they were not able to maybe first time understand how to operate the machine. We delisted from the portal and started selling on our own online D2C portal. Return rates drastically reduced. People were happier. We were speaking to them, and we were able to explain. And the AOVs actually went up. Another example on coffee. We are a marketplace for coffee. You can buy any coffee brand as well. But when we initially launched, we were just operating like a pure play marketplace, which means we were not storing inventory of coffee. We were just linking the roasters and the customers. Now, because of various reasons, because the cycles at which coffee roasters roast coffee, it is not every day, it is weekly, orders were getting delayed. And of course, all the flag was coming to us. So we realized that, look, when somebody needs coffee, they need coffee. They need coffee the next day. They'll not wait for a week. So we figured that we'll need to store inventory, even a few SKUs, and let's only go with that, the popular brands. And the rest of it, we make the customer understand that, look, you need to wait for this coffee. It's a unique blend. If you're willing to wait for a week, buy it. Otherwise, you have the eCommerce 10-minute delivery options available to you. So again, some realization that came from understanding the customers.
Excellent. So we are on time, but I'll open up. So one or two questions max. One question maybe, one last. Anybody? Or everybody's too hungry? One last question, come on. Hopefully you are awake. They're hungry. Okay. So thanks a lot for the patient listening. I know the sessions are a little delayed. I hope we as a team could share insights which you can go and apply and use. That's why you've been sitting here and listening, not to learn what they've done, but what you can apply in your own life and in your business. So hopefully it's helpful for you, and thanks a lot.